My name is Adina Williams. My Kwakwaka'wakw name is Yakwawilas. I'm from the Squamish Nation. I grew up in the village of Homalchton for my entire life. I'm also Kwakwaka'wakw through my late grandfather from Alert Bay, BC.
Chinwa Quaitlot I Flow Koshamansna, Nukwams Hatno to me Kaik Usi Jasami. Just sharing with you the ancestral names that I carry. Quaitlot was my late grandmother's name, and I carry that with my cousin Lorraine. Kulawok was a name that I was gifted upon me.
I'm Peter Baker. I'm the Chief of Staff of Chair and Council Office. I'm also the project sponsor for usnew. Usnew is a journey in us understanding the experience of our residential school survivors and those family members that have suffered through intergenerational trauma because of this experience.
My mom is actually a survivor of the 60s scoop, and my late dad was a survivor of the Kamloops Indian Residential School. My late grandmother was Matilda Williams. My grandmother attended St. Paul's Indian Residential School when she was a child.
My father is Tanauchten, George Jacob Sr., and my mother is Hamdiri, Christine Jacob. So my father is Hopmish, my mother is Kwagil. They both are residential school survivors, both of my parents, so therefore I'm an intergenerational survivor.
My grandfather went to residential school in Lytton. My grandmother went to day school here. I have a number of cousins and other relatives that did go to residential school, and I have lost a few family members to intergenerational trauma, definitely from the impacts of residential school.
For many, many years, people weren't talking about the pain, the grief, the trauma that they'd experienced or endured in those institutions. And we call them truth tellers because they told their truths before, and people didn't listen to them. It fell on deaf ears. People didn't want to truly believe that this happened here in Canada. And these things truly did happen here. Like we never doubted our loved ones for the stories that they told us.
We're still here, but it had a hell of an impact. We're still trying to rewrite the course so that we can move our people forward in a healthy way, in a way in which we share equitably with the non-Indigenous people within the larger community. We're not looking for handouts, but what we are looking for is proper representation, equal representation, and that we create our own space to determine our own self-well-being.
It's a part of our experiences as people, you know, as hard as it is, it's a part of understanding who we are today and understanding where we're going.
We're so blessed and gifted to have our dear elders still here, the survivors, to tell their stories, and that we honor those stories in a way that makes them proud, that their sacrifice has not gone unwanted, and that they know this truth-telling is going to be a bridge for our people to flourish. That's the light that I see come out of the darkness. And so I really look at that as we're aiming for that light.
It's really empowering those that are telling their truth. So usnew is a really, to me, it feels like a very powerful tool to allow those that are looking to provide some answers to some of the things in our community, but also some healing for themselves, that we can all continue to be together and support one another.
Just hope that this brings more opportunity for our own people to understand what our family experiences were with the Indian residential school system.
There's Homish people that are at the forefront, and it's important for us to be there to support our loved ones, that they trust us, they believe in us.
We know everyone that we engage with, and if we don't know them personally, we know the families and the core part of the communities that each person that comes forward shares with us. I'm so grateful to the people who are willing and strong to share that story with us. You know, we worked for quite some time to make sure that this process was done with as much care as possible, and to make sure that this process is done with the survivor at the center and at the forefront, and making sure that they have the power and agency over the records and stories and experiences that they share with us.
From day one, we wanted to ensure that we honored the space of our survivors, both those that are still with us and those that have departed. And really it was going to be their voice that guided us along this journey. And we wanted to make sure that our Squamish values were embedded at every point of the process that we were creating, so that we were led in a good way, a Squamish way. And we want to honor our protocols, our traditional teachings, and I think through that we will be able to create the space that I've identified in a way that will honor our survivors, those that are deceased, those that are still with us, and those family members that have suffered through intergenerational trauma because of residential school. We want to make sure they're proud on how we move together forward, and that we do it in a good way, our way.
My hope and dream for the usnew project is really to look at the healing and wellness of our community, for those that were gravely impacted and affected at the residential schools, that they may find some closure for themselves, that they know that they're loved and they are cared for, that we will nurture them the best way that we possibly can. We can look around and we know in our heart how we've been impacted individually, but also look amongst our family and see how our families have been affected. And so I hope and dream that people will want that healing and wellness in their own individual lives, and that can go out, be that ripple effect into our community to find some peace, inner peace within ourselves.
I hope that when I'm an elder, the future generations to be will be listening to the stories that our elders share, for those who choose to share it that widely, and understand what their experiences were, and also using that to being inspired to think about our history and to act on being engaged with our land, engaged with our water, engaged with our language, and bringing that back to our community, because we'll still be working on it when I'm an elder.
We have a responsibility today for 7 generations from now. So when we're making decisions for 7 generations. So it's not about me, it's about the next 7 generations. So when I sit down and I see my step-grandson, who's 2 years old, what we're doing here today is ensuring that he never experiences a household that is affected by intergenerational trauma, that he knows only love, and that through that love, he's set up to succeed in a way a number of our people haven't had that chance. And so I look to that. That's what inspires me. This young 2-year-old, just about 3, knowing that what his grandmother went through and his grandmother's friends, he'll never know. Or better yet, he'll never experience and may know, so he can appreciate the sacrifices that created the space that he gets to flourish in now. That's really what this is all about, is creating that space so that we can flourish as a nation, as a community, as a family, and as a person.